Hello, welcome into this edition of the Sancomb Show. My name is Matt Kuiper. I'm the Sports Information Director here for the California Vulcans. And with me after a nice win last night on the road, Coach Sancomb, congrats. We've been a couple wins here in a row and hit that peak time where March Madness is right around the corner, but there's still a lot of basketball left and a lot of things to be decided.
No doubt about it. And it's February basketball, end of March basketball is a grind. So we're happy to go on the road and get a win and get back at it here on Saturday.
So it's been a couple weeks here since we've had a chance to talk. The last time we met was previewing Slippery Rock, so we'll start there, looking at the Slippery Rock contest. That's a game there I know on paper, and even the guys, they definitely wanted to get that game back because it was a tough one for you guys up there. Earlier this year, they handed the loss, and just the offense just wasn't really clicking, and it wasn't a game that was really what had been indicative of the whole season for the Vulcans.
Yeah, they dominated us up there early in the year, so I think our guys were locked in and ready to play, and we came out and did what we needed to do.
Yeah, the game here was on February 10th, and it was a close contest early in the first half. There was 33-30 at halftime. But overall, in the second half, the guys sort of started piecing it together a little bit. Shooting 53% in the second half really helped stretch it out there as we're taking a look here at the highlights.
Yeah, I thought in the first half we played really hard. It was just both teams struggling to score the basketball, both teams very long, athletic, making it hard. But the second half, we got it going, and I think there was a stretch there in the second half. KJ hit about 3 straight threes. We won a bunch of 50-50 balls, like you see Bryson there, and got some buckets in transition. So I was very, very happy to beat them by 11 at our place. We needed to play well, and our defense for the entire game was very good.
Yeah, in that game there, Slippery Rock was shooting under 40%, but I referenced KJ getting those big stretch there. He scored a lot of points this year, but he actually scored a career-high 36 in this game, and 10-12 from the line, and 11-23 from the field with 4 three-pointers and 9 rebounds, a typical KJ kind of game.
Yeah, he was, in the second half, he really got it going. He shot it well. He scored, like you can see, in transition, got to the foul line, just did what he does. He's an aggressive offensive player, and he's a 3-level scorer, and he was able to do it in all three ways for us. And it was just, it was good. We found him. We took good shots in the second half. I thought in the first half we may pressed a little bit, tried to do a little bit too much. I thought in the second half we made the extra pass and we got some good looks.
Yeah, also in that game, Jermaine ended up with 11 and 5. Bryson having 10 points, 4 boards, 2 blocks, and 4 steals. One of those is balanced lines. We'll talk about a couple more here. But Bryson, when he plays, he doesn't really necessarily get 25 points a game like you maybe see out of KJ or Zion, but he gets every stat and he gets like a number each one of those stats.
Yeah, he fills out the box score for us. Jermaine, too, defensively, had a lot of deflections and steals and did a really, really good job. And then Bryson, when he's active on defense, he reads things very, very well. He rebounds very, very well. He can block shots. He can score the ball. So he puts up big numbers, as you see, following up for a big-time dunk right there. He just very, very active and is playing at a high level for us right now.
And yeah, in referencing the first game there, Ike Herster, number 3 for Slippery Rock, he really went off a career game against 36 there up at Slippery Rock in that win they had. But this game, 4-9 shooting, limited only 18 minutes and ended up with 12 points. So really being able to shut him down, changing things up a little bit defensively.
Yeah, he did a good job. Obviously his foul trouble hurt him. He's a good offensive player. He's their second leading scorer. He can score the basketball from the perimeter. He can put it on the floor, get to the foul line. So he got a little bit of foul trouble. I think it threw him out of rhythm and obviously didn't get to play a lot because he was in foul trouble. But we attacked him on defense, and I think some of our guys had some reason for him to get in foul trouble.
Okay, you have that one there against Slippery Rock. You come back again, another home game against Clarion, a team that's been getting better each year and more competitive throughout. But one of those things there was really tight in the second half. A double technical foul within basically 5 seconds of real time really changed that game and really opened that game up for you guys. Yeah,
it was a funny game for us. I thought we got off to a really good start in that game. And then they started to make a run, and we pulled away a little bit. But in the second half, they came out and made a good run, and then they had a technical foul, and I think it led to a 7-point swing. All foul shots. We got 4 for the double technical, and then we ran a play and got fouled on a 3, and we didn't look back. I think we went on a 15-16-0 run at that point in time, and just caught our rhythm offensively and continued to play well defensively.
Yeah, in that game, first half just a little bit struggling from shooting from beyond the arc, 2 of 15, but second half you go 5 of 9, and overall on the floor shooting nearly 60% in the second half. So guys really found their rhythm there. Almost scored 60 points in the second half. You do that, you're going to win a lot of games, and a lot of games big.
Yeah, for us to score 60.5 is big. We shared the ball, and we just executed. You see there, great backdoor pass, good cut, but we just did a good job making the extra pass. Obviously, when you score 60 points, you're making shots, but I think when we take the right shots, we shoot a very high percentage.
Yeah, in that game, KJ goes for 22 and 10, getting his first double-double this season. He's always had like 5 to 8, 9 rebounds, but really got that double-double there. And then Zion had 17 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, a typical balanced game from Zion. And then Donald White had 17 points, 4 boards. And then Jermaine had 9 rebounds and 4 assists. So one of those things there, 7 points, but doing everything else too in the game to help impact the win.
Yeah, I really think, when you mention KJ and Zion, they've been so consistent this year. They play so well. And Donald really got it going, especially in the second half, making shots. Those 3 guys on the perimeter are really hard to guard, and they did a really good job. They've done a great job all year, but they did a really good job in the second half of the Clarion game. You just see Donald making threes there, pull-up dribble shots that aren't easy shots, and good passing right there for an easy layup for Zion running the floor. So those 3 guys are very important to what we do offensively and defensively.
Yeah, one of those things there you see a lot of points from inside, 40 points inside the paint, and even 15 second chance points. So 15 offensive rebounds leading to 15 second chance points, getting the basket on those second chances and making the most of it. In these kind of games, you get your guys on the bench who've been such important guys for you all season in practice, getting these times to actually get their chances to play on the court and actually get points.
Yeah, and they did a great job. You can see the passing right there and the shooting, running our offense. Very, very pleased with that. I think the big thing for us, when you look up and see a team has 66 points, it's going to be hard to beat us. So we talk about that regularly. We got to be able to defend. I think offensively, we're just a hard team to match up with. We're going to score some points. We present some matchup problems for our opponents. But when we're locked in defensively, you score 95 points and you give up 66 points, that's a big time win for us.
So that was right in the middle of the season there. That was a Wednesday game against Clarion. The guys get that game off Saturday, but you had the unique experience on this past Saturday, getting a chance to go back to your alma mater, former school, to see a unique ceremony where Haywood Highsmith, playing in the NBA, getting his number retired. Can you talk a little bit about that for you, being able to see those guys come back and then seeing Haywood just develop from what you saw at Wheeling to where he is now in the NBA, playing for the Heat and making a run to the NBA Finals last year?
Yeah, very, very proud of Haywood. Proud of all those guys. That group of guys at Wheeling are unbelievable. About 17, 18 guys came in that played with Haywood over his 4-year period, made the commitment. In life, people are busy. To get all those guys back, we had a great time. Obviously, Haywood had a great career at Wheeling, Division II National Player of the Year, All-American, first team All-Conference 2 years, unbelievable, and then could continue to get better and play in his 3rd year with the Miami Heat, 4th year in the NBA. Just proud of him. I'd say this, guys that work hard and believe in who they are and what they do. It's just neat to see. I think, I had a chance to talk at the event, and, it's the truth. Sometimes people know what it takes and they're just not willing to do that. I think a lot of times people have no idea what it takes, and he's just figured it out and continues to work hard and is in a great organization and is having a hell of a year this year. I think he started 26 games this year, averaged about 7 points a game, and has played at a high level for them, and brings a unique role for them defensively. Just will guard, multiple positions and does a really good job. Usually is guarding the best offensive player when he's out there. So super proud of him, love him to death. So fortunate to have an opportunity to coach him and all those guys. There's probably about another 8 guys that were there that will be in the Hall of Fame and have their jerseys retired in the near future as well.
And one of those things too, referencing Wheeling, but a guy from the Vulcans, obviously perspective, Brent Pegram, 3-year starter point guard here. He was a sixth man basically on that team when Haywood was a senior. You guys won the MEC championship, so obviously you need to see his development. You saw his entire career, and then Preston Boswell was an impact player for those guys, for those Cardinals teams, and then he ends up finishing his career for you guys here with the Vulcans.
Yeah, you talk about Brent. It was great seeing him. Love him. He came in and watched us practice. Friday, slept through Saturday's morning practice, but saw him at the event. And the culture at Wheeling is what we wanted here and was what we have now. And he sped that process up dramatically. I tell people all the time, I told our team Friday after practice, he was sitting there watching us, that the guys that don't know him should go up and introduce himself, because we are here right now because of our team. But the foundation of our program, he really set that, and Jermaine and Zion have carried that through, with that. He's just such an important piece to getting this program to the level where we have it now. And it was great spending time with Brent, and I'm glad that things are going well for him. Not surprised. He's a winner, worker, so he's another guy that's just going to be very successful throughout life.
And before we take a look at last night's game, we'll take a quick break here. Still plenty to catch up on here. Only 3 games left in the regular season, but lots still to go on for the Vulcans.
Hey, I'm Dr. JT Stazzle. I'm one of the directors for She Kills Monsters.
I'm Jillian Bruni-Kreitzer. I play Agnes Evans.
I'm John Sape. I play Orcus.
Hi, my name's Belle. I play Vera.
I'm Elena, and I play Evil Tina.
My name's Amelia Passway-Roberts. I play Lilith Morningstar and Lily.
It's a fun show. Come see it, February 22nd through the 24th. Be there.
We got a few plans, we don't take the mans lightly. Ever seen a lightning bolt come up like high beams, cut your throat and watch your life see.
More than 7,500 student athletes working to become champions in the league's 23 championship sports. 18 member campuses, educating more than 110,000 students, with an alumni base that tops the 1 million mark. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, making the PSAC proud.
Hello, welcome back. This is an edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. My name is Matt Kiefer, the Sports Information Director here for the Vulcans. With me after a win last night, going to Johnstown, a relatively short trip, but again, it's been a problem for the Vulcans there since they've joined the PSAC. Referenced earlier to you today, and you knew it obviously. It was one of those things. Cal's never been able to sweep UPJ since they joined the league, and that was a decade ago. Obviously, Cal's gone through coaching changes in that time, but UPJ's had the same coach for 3+ decades, and he runs a system, and it works, and he's been highly successful.
Yeah, think the world of Bob. He's a great coach. They're having some injury issues this year. It's been a tough year for them, but part of my goal this year was I know since I've been here, we haven't beaten them twice in the same year, and to have the opportunity to do that, we wanted to make sure we were ready to do that, and we jumped on them early, and it was a good win to get them twice for the first time since they've joined the league. I didn't know that until after the game, so very happy we were able to do that.
Yeah, jumping on them early there, outscoring them, basically doubling up in the first half, 50-26 at halftime. The offense was really clicking in the first half, moving around. A lot of different guys in double figures there in the contest, and just balanced. Again, has been the name of the game basically for the Vulcans all year.
Yeah, we did a good job. We were ready to play, I think, defensively. Our first 8-9 minutes of the half, we were really locked in and made things difficult for them. Did a really good job rebounding the ball. We shared the ball. I think in the first half we had 13 assists. We just did a good job, took good shots. I knew they'd do something a little bit different. Came out in a 1-2-2. We were prepared for it, but slowed us down for a second. But we were able to move it, get good shots, and then we were great in transition last night. We were really able to get out and run and get some easy baskets, which, when you play really good defense, you get those opportunities. So really happy with the first half, not so happy with the second half.
Yeah, you talk about running for the Vulcans, and when the guys run, obviously Bryson's at the front of that charge for the most part. I had a career high 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 6 steals, and that was only in 26 minutes. I mean, he plays a 35-minute game. That's looking at triple, maybe even quadruple double the way he was just playing yesterday.
Bryson was great last night on both ends of the floor, like you mentioned. He scored the ball, was very into the scout, understood what they wanted to do, and was able to read and make some great plays for dunks. I think he had 4 or 5 dunks in the game, so it was really good to see. But then his block shots and steals on the defensive end just anchored us, and he had great energy last night. And when he's playing at a high level, we're a much different team. And
then again, Zion had 17 points, 3 boards. KJ 16 points, 5 boards, and then Donald had 10 points and 5 boards. And not to discount there, Keith had 12 points in 11 minutes off the bench. So it's always good when you're scoring a point per minute off the bench. But Keith has just that ability. It doesn't matter if he starts or plays off the bench.
Yeah, Keith's starting to come into his own. I talked to him last week. We got to find him more minutes. Obviously, he tweaked his ankle a little bit yesterday, so we want to be safe with that. But he has the ability to score, and he's such a hard matchup. I think one of the hardest matchups in our league when he's healthy. He can shoot it. He can put it on the floor. He can post up. So I feel like his legs are underneath him. He's been back for about a month now. I feel like he's really starting to play at a high level. Zion and KJ yesterday just consistent. They did a really good job, with that. Box score didn't show, but Jermaine, he's been so active defensively for us here of late, did a really good job. And then Antoine off the bench, rebounded the ball exceptionally well, scored around the rim. Just thought it was a team effort. Donald, just penetrating in the lane, finding guys and scoring the ball. I really thought everybody that played, especially in the first half, they were just locked in, and it was just good energy on both sides of the basketball. Second half, not nearly as good. I thought we got complacent and just didn't execute, especially defensively, as well as we did in the first half. So I was a little bit frustrated with that. I got that off my chest after the game with them, and we moved on, had a good practice today.
It's one of those things that you're not necessarily coaching the games as they are, but you're looking forward. March is right around the corner. One tournament, two tournaments, multiple championships on the line. You guys are really looking at being in contend for those. So it's the idea of you're not just necessarily coaching on a Wednesday, but looking for lessons that go down the road. So it's one of those things, good programs and great programs have established there. But with last night's game, Zion Collins made history for the Vulcans last night, climbing up to the 5th place all-time in school history and scoring with 1,671 points. One of those things there we've talked about him before all year long about him just being such dynamic. But he actually passed his old running mate, Brent, on the list there last night. So it's one of those things there. Those guys are so instrumental, but Zion's just been that steadfast guy for his entire time through the program.
Oh, great player. Love him. Can't say enough good things about him. Obviously the 5th all-time leading scorer. We ask him to do so much, and he just answers the bell each and every night. He has the toughest assignment on the defensive end every night. Obviously, he scores the ball. He's the 5th leading scorer here, but he also makes so many plays for our other guys and just does so many things from that as well. He's just a rock. He's been in our program, but he's just so consistent on both ends, and I just feel like Zion's been so locked in this year, had some knee issues early on in the year, but since he's been able to come back and we started, he's been terrific this year. Not too many players that are the 5th leading scorer in school history are guarding the best player on the team for the last 3 years. And it would have been 4 years, but we played zone his entire freshman year because we just didn't have numbers to play. So for the last 3 years that he's played, always guarding the best perimeter player, and does a great job for us on that end as well. So when we start talking about complete players, he's one of the most complete players in the country at that wing position for sure.
It's just amazing looking back, thinking back to his freshman, you guys being so limited, but the idea of, in terms of a roster stuff, but you're so deep right now, you can go 6, 7, 8 guys on a nightly basis, and even more so if you need the extra minutes. It's just amazing how far the program's come, and those guys between Brent, Jermaine, Zion, sticking through the whole time, have been such linchpins for that to be able to happen.
Yeah, obviously, I said how I felt about Brent earlier and about Zion, and Jermaine is in the same list. Jermaine's a top 20 scorer in school history here. He's a great rebounder. He has been a steadfast leader in our program from day one. Just terrific, carries the message from the coaches to the players, and is very serious, but also his ability to interact with everybody that he's always played with and listen to them and talk with them and have relationships with them. Can't say enough about him. Love him to death. This senior class, obviously losing Brent last year was hard for me. Losing these 2 guys, having 6 years with them, love them to death. They are about winning. They are about commitment to the program. And all the accolades you mentioned, it's important to them, but winning has always been their priority. And I'm so happy they've had the opportunity to see the program at a certain level. And, we say this all the time, leave it better than you found it. And those guys have taken the program to a unbelievable level. And Jermaine and Zion are not only great basketball players, just wonderful people, and they have such a bright future to continue to play basketball when basketball is finished, to be successful in life. Can't wait to see what life has in store for them.
Yeah, those 2 guys, it's going to be a very special senior day, I'm sure, come Saturday against Mercyhurst. But again, 3 games left. Standings looking at the PSAC West. At this point, it's definitely one of those things that you've seen the same 2 teams at the top all year, Gannon and Cal, only 1 game separating them. But last night, IUP suffered a loss to Seton Hill, really brought things a little bit back down there. 13-6. IUP has to travel at Slippery Rock here this weekend to be a pivotal game for those 2 programs. Just looking at how the rest of the season shakes out, because Slippery Rock finishes the year at Mercyhurst. So Slippery Rock really has to run a gauntlet here to these last 3 games. And then Seton Hill and Mercyhurst right there, 9 and 10. Edinburgh, Clarion, DPJ at the bottom. But a lot of those teams I think we could get a guess of the 6. It's just the positioning at this point. Really, it's still a lot to be playing for with 3 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, grind. You start looking up there at those teams and the players that each program has. Our league's terrific. It is from top to bottom. I know obviously UPJ is down this year a little bit with injuries and so forth, but seen such a big improvement with Clarion over the last few years. Big improvement. Edinburgh's having a great year this year. They've improved. Obviously Gannon, a big jump. So our league is just a grind. The players that are in the league, the coaches in the league, it makes for great basketball games. And here it is. You look up there and you see really 6 teams above 500 out of the 9. And on any given night, though, those last 3 teams could beat anybody. You saw last night Clarion took Slippery Rock down to the wire. You've seen Edinburgh beat some of those teams. You got to be ready to play every single night, and it says a lot about the players and coaches and how great our league is.
Now we're getting to that point of the season where the NCAA tournament's right around the corner. Last night they revealed their top teams under consideration, something new they've done the last couple of years. We can see it here. They put the 10 teams out right now, but they don't give you an order this first week. So Cal's fortunate to be in that spot of the top 10, but you don't know exactly where, what the committee's thinking at. But overall, looking at that, a lot of MEC, a lot of PSAC, no CAA, but remember the CAA is an automatic bid, so it's one of those things you may not see them there, but they will be represented in the NCAA tournament. But overall, looking at the PSAC East, Millersville and New Stroudsburg right there in Lock Haven. Lock Haven took a bad loss last night, but they finished the year with Millersville. They could still have a lot to say come PSAC East and 1 through 3 standings and also the regional standpoint.
Yeah, you look up there. There's a lot of good teams. You start looking at those records. I would say like this year, record-wise, is one of the best I've seen in the region. Obviously every team on there still has a lot of work to do. We have 3 regular season games. Pretty much everybody in the region now has about the same. CIAA will finish this week. They'll start their conference tournament. But those other teams, have 3 games in their conference tournament. And, our mindset's been simple the whole year. Our whole focus right now is Mercyhurst and only Mercyhurst. Just focus in on our next opponent, play the game, do the best we can, and then move on. Win, awesome. Lose, you got to forget about it and be ready to play, the next game. So, I think we've got ourselves in a good position, but we still have work to do, and we plan on being ready to play on Saturday and continuing hopefully to win. Yeah,
again, I know you've obviously looked at Mercyhurst here the last couple of days. It's been a program, a head coach, been there a long time, been very successful. What have you seen so far in the Lakers we can look to see possibly on Saturday?
Yeah, just a well-coached team, good players. They're a little bit different defensively. They switch a lot. They are very active. They get their hands on basketballs, good ball pressure, work very hard on that. And then offensively, they got some guys that can score the ball, but they run a lot of different sets. They have a lot of different actions. They're very content to play at a slower pace. And they're just a team that usually doesn't beat themselves. You're going to beat them. You're going to have to go out there and execute and play. They compete at a high level, so we'll obviously have to be ready to compete hard and play hard and execute if we want to win the game.
Yeah, we have 3 games left. 2 of them are home, but 2 against the better programs, more established coaches by far in the league. Mercyhurst Saturday and IUP on Wednesday, and IUP, one of those things there. You may not see in the regional rankings, but that program has had such a tradition that you would never be surprised to see them make a run come PSAC tournament time if they need to. And even then closing up at Edinburgh, first-year coach obviously wanted to put their season on a positive note. So it's a tough challenge here to finish up. A lot of work still left to be done.
Absolutely. All 3 of those games, we better be ready to play. So good thing is we do have 2 of them at home, which is nice. We got 1 more game to travel. So, one day at a time. We just got to keep working, getting better in practice. Go out there and compete hard and execute well. We'll be where we need to be.
So again, that's on Saturday here, senior day for the Vulcans at the Convocation Center. Tip-off is at 3 p.m. You see those 2 guys right there, Zion and Jermaine. They've been with the program ever since day 1, since Coach Sancomb's been here. Be a good time to recognize those guys for their accomplishments they've done so far throughout their career and still work to be done this season. So thank you for watching this edition of the Sancomb Show.